Welcome to Varsity Voices Boys Soccer. My name is Jeff DiVeronica. He's James Johnson, and we're here to talk about some of the top teams in the area this fall in Section 5 for boys. And let's start at the top of the heap. Number one in the state, ascending to number one this week, the Fairport Red Raiders. Coach Johnny Busani's squad, 12-1. They've got a big matchup on Wednesday night against Hilton, a rematch of last year's championship game, James. And this is a typical Fairport team, 14 seniors, really deep, really tough, and I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, obviously Fairport's reputation has been well laid out in this last few seasons.
Yeah, they made it to the state final a few years back and then made it back again to the state tournament. But last year they got knocked off by Hilton, and that was a kind of surprise to a lot of folks. Hilton hadn't won a Section 5 title since 1987 when I was still in high school, so that tells you how long that was. Mike Ellicott has done a really good job with the program. They square off actually on Wednesday night, so you might be watching this after they've played. Make sure you go to DemocratandChronicle.com to check out the results. But I think it's going to be a great matchup. Hilton has really got on a roll since a slow start. 2-3. They've won 6 of their last 7. These are some Fairport highlights right now. They got some great playmakers. Pete Critchlow, 12 goals and 4 assists. He's a veteran. He's been on the team for a few years. His brother was a great player too, an AGR Player of the Year. Matt Gasperi, 7 goals and 5 assists. Nick Guida, 2 goals, and he has 10 assists, James. Diego Zavala, that's a soccer name, 4 goals and 3 assists. And the senior goalkeeper is Nick Turturro. Fairport's good. They're deep. And, I like their chances in this game. They've been gearing up for this. Their only losses to Rush early in the season. And since then, I think they've ripped off like 11 in a row. They're ready for this matchup. I know Johnny Busani. I know he's talking about revenge for last year's championship game, even though it's a regular season game. Yeah. But it's a really quality matchup for both these teams to get ready for the postseason, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks.
I know. Everything's kind of flying by here.
Now, Hilton, I mean, you're going to talk about some of their top playmakers. Let's look at some highlights for the Hilton Cadets. Again, a slow start, but they're really rolling now.
Absolutely. So their big three includes Matt DeFio, 8 goals, 8 assists. Nick Simone, 12 goals, 5 assists. And Nick Provost, another senior, 5 goals, 6 assists.
Now, in this run, they did lose once, and they lost to Victor in this run. Victor, I think, is kind of a sleeper here in AA. So if you're looking for a dark horse, I think Victor can get in the mix here for sure. But, there are other good teams in the area. McQuaid has certainly staked its claim to being a soccer power on the boys' side again. And I think, actually, HFL could be in the mix. And in A1, it really is Canandaigua. They're the team to beat now. Let's take a look at some highlights of the Braves. 12-0-1. Coach Mark Anessi's team has been fantastic, and a big win over Athena a couple of weeks ago. They really put the bullseye on their back. James, I'm looking right now. Jonathan Brown, he's had a fantastic season, 16 goals and 8 assists, one of the top players in the area.
Absolutely. Has this been a team that's been kind of building up towards this, or have they been kind of in the mix but just a step away from where they want to go?
Canandaigua's been building toward this. This is a program that's kind of looked toward this season, and like I said, Anessi's done a fantastic job building them up. But, in playoff soccer, you never know what can happen. Yeah. So it's different than a lot of sports. I mean, you can outshoot a team 15-5, but you hit a couple crossbars and you get a hot goalie, and all of a sudden you're in penalty kicks, or maybe you lose that match. So these teams have to be sharp going in the postseason, and just a couple weeks when you talk about seeding. So a big matchup, like we said, between Fairport and Hilton, but there's a lot of big ones to come too, and we're going to talk about them right here on Varsity Voices. So for James Johnson, I'm Jeff DiVeronica. Talk to you again next week or very soon right here on Varsity Voices, DemocratandChronicle.com.